Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I'm really excited about this video. I'm going to take you around and show you all of my Delonix Regias and my blue Jacarandas that I grew from the Planter's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit. I have my prized tree and my first bonsai tree, the Delonix in front of you here, and that one's nearing 4 years old. It'll be 4 in February. And then I have some ranging from a year to about 3 years other than that one. So yeah, we're going to do some defoliation. We're going to talk about some insect control, maybe some light pruning, and discuss the benefits of indoor versus outdoor or doing a hybrid depending on your climate. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so taking a look at that first Delonix I was talking about, that'll be 4 years old from seed this coming February. This one has always been indoors, and I always have insect problems with it. Aphids, most recently white flies. But I did try a new product that I kind of liked. It's called Arbor. It's a bioinsecticide, and it's safe to use inside. It's like a very good alternative to the pesticide granules, which are, in my opinion, the best product to kill your insects. But like if you're growing a fruiting tree, you won't be able to eat the fruit if you use those pesticide granules. And also with them being inside my plants, I don't like to use all those chemicals. So this thing's pretty cool, but what happened was this guy was in my big window, my big bay window, excuse me, and it got a ton of sun, really high rays, and so I didn't wash off the insecticide, which you spray on the soil and the leaves, and so even though it killed the white flies, it also really killed all of my leaves. So it's looking gnarly and nasty. So that guy, I think I'm going to defoliate it, and I'm going to leave it outside for the rest of the season because we're supposed to be in the mid-70s Fahrenheit with patches of rain and mainly overcast. So it's a great week to get some of the benefits of bringing them outside. That's what I was going to say. I think I didn't get to it once I introduced the Arbor. But what I've found to be best for the Delonix Regias and for the blue Jacarandas is bringing them outside. I brought them out in late spring, early summer. Some of these over here were really affected by spider mites, I believe. And look how lush and amazing this little forest is. And these ones all popped up from seed together. Clearly I have to weed. But you see they're getting some really nice canopies. They popped up together this time last year outdoors. They had not sprouted in soil when I thought that I was going to be growing them. And then I used them again to do another pot, this avocado tree actually. And then all of a sudden like 10 or 11 popped up, and I think maybe there's 7 or 8 left. Really cool. So I'm loving how that's looking with bringing it outside when I did. This is a blue Jacaranda that's just looking terrible. My goal was to just let these grow all summer and get some size to the trunks because the blue Jacarandas grow a little slower than the Delonix Regia, even though they have a similar leaf and style. And so it just got really long and leggy, and then it got the white flies, and this is what happened to its leaves. It just looks sad. Over here, this is a healthy Jacaranda. But once again, I'm going to be transferring this one out. This is a Delonix right here. This one popped up from seeds separately from those last year, but that one's only one as well. And I really like that one. That one's looking pretty good, but it had some white flies, and as you see, it's dropped some leaves. My broski Ian at Back Garden Bonsai, he also has one of these that I sent him, and Bonsai J up in Canada, they have them, and they have some playlists and videos on theirs. Ian recently did a video, and he was struggling with keeping the leaves on. They just kept dropping their leaves and turning yellow, and I've noticed, honestly, especially with the younger ones, that's what they do when they're inside. So I know he's in Northern Ireland. Jay's in Canada. I don't know if their climates are ever okay to bring them out. Or maybe Jay did bring his out. I don't know. Anyways, so that's the group that I'm going to be bringing outside. So this is newly outside, newly outside. This has been outside, and this is going to be newly outside, newly outside. What I'm thinking about doing on this blue jacaranda, since it is just a single trunk and really skinny, this doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to show you a technique that somebody, Bonsai Broski, suggested to me that I've been using. And yeah, so before we get started with all those, there are some jacarandas that I have indoors that are in a planting of 3 that look outstanding. And so as the continued experiment goes on, I'm going to leave them inside. If it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? So let me show you those. I got to turn the camera off in case Laura's in the living room with the baby. Hope she's not. Okay. Hey, Franny.
Hi.
Franny's home for another week before she goes back for another ballet season in New York City. And here are those blue jacarandas. You see, nice lush green. The new growth is bright yellow green, which is beautiful. And so we're going to let those grow. I have a nice decorative flowering plant crawling out the base of it. So it's kind of an experimental. Right, so each one of these large branches is the Delonix leaf. They have a special name. I'm never going to remember it. And time to time people say what it is, but in my comments. But the point is that you can't like prune them halfway down and expect them to divide, you know, like a branch. It's just not going to happen. But you could potentially get branching coming out of the inner nodes after you defoliate, or prune, or both. Like I said, this thing has always been indoors. You know, I'm in Northwest Connecticut, so we get extremely chilly winters. And I've honestly been like working in the amount of the different trees that and how I'm overwintering them, just still figuring that out. And so with a tree like this that didn't really need to go outside, I didn't pay any attention to doing that. But now that I'm noticing a trend in the years that after, you know, its leaves grow out fully, it's not even in that good a shape for bonsai anymore. And then I get the bug problem, and then you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, now that I'm getting the hang of things, I'm working more trees into the cycle. So this won't go probably outside, or it won't go in the basement for winter. It'll just go back inside, but I will start putting it outside. There's not many, but there's a few white flies still, and it's just so annoying. Definitely indoor trees get much more bugs. Aphid, scale, depending on the year, it's like it's a takeover. So I like that I found this spray. I'm going to use it more in the soil. And I think I just have to do it more regularly, you know, keep up with it. Maybe every 2 weeks, spray the top of the soil and not the leaves necessarily. This way, in case there's things hatching. But actually, this is going to solve it. I already know that, putting it outdoors. That's been the ultimate solution. So boom, boom. So I pruned this thing hard not too long ago. They do grow out quickly. You'd be really surprised. If you have some of these species, you understand that. But if you don't, you would be very surprised how quickly they grow out. So I feel like I tried to do a lot of corrective work. Let's bring it in there closer. Tried to do a lot of corrective work because it had grown crazy gnarly. And so you see, I pruned really hard back. Boom, boom, and boom to 3 branches. And we've gotten 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the new technique that I was talking about that I'm going to show you today is, rather than doing a prune every time you defoliate, right? Or like waiting until it's so gnarly that you have to do corrective work like this, somebody suggested, since it's so fast growing, as they grow in, just simply, boom, pop the little new branches, new foliage, pop it right off so that it doesn't get taller in the meantime. And this will create, without disrupting the tree too much, it'll create some back budding, and you'll start to get, you know, some more branches kicking off down low. And then he suggested that, you know, you get some wire on it right away, blah, 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 blah. But I will get to that maybe by like year 5. So this is working on year 4 of bonsai. That rock was hand painted by my mother-in-law. I just threw in a couple of local rose quartz stones in there, doing the things in 3s. This is thickening up nicely. And I'm not going to do a prune on it. I'm going to leave it as is and let it be outside for its first week outdoors. So I'll probably do a short update later this week on it, not a full video. All right, so back to one of the jacarandas, long, stringy. Starting to get a branch down here. So I'll let that one go. And we'll just pop and pop, and you do it with your nails. You don't even need snips or anything like that. I guess you could use them, but whatever. Yeah, I'll let this one go. Maybe it'll get some thickness to it, even up, and then we'll prune this back hard for next time. But now we'll leave that outside. I'm going to leave this one that was born outside, then moved inside, and now it's back outside. I'm going to leave that. I think I just snipped the tips on it the other day, and the foliage is in bed, so that'll probably, if worst case, it'll burn up and then new stuff will grow in. And then this one just doesn't even look healthy enough for me to defoliate. I think I'm just gonna let them naturally like brown up and fall off, but in hopes that in the meantime they'll at least provide some energy to the tree to get some new foliage coming out, because it really hasn't kicked any off, and that's unlike, you know, these species. All right, before we sign off, baby Stella's getting big. I think tomorrow she's 7 weeks old, a baby. She's getting comfy on her mommy. Anyway, she's been doing great with sleeping and just like being a baby overall. So thanks for all the well wishes from y'all out there. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Planner's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit. It's a really fun one. You get, along with these, you get the Pinus Aristata, and you know what? I'm going to show them to you. You get the Pinus Aristata seeds and Picea Abies. And I have some Picea Abies that are really well established down in that garden area, but I got those from a nursery. I didn't have any success with growing them from seed. But this Rocky Mountain Pine, the Pinus Aristata, this is the same age as the Delonix Regia. Got its first pruning though, and this is how big it is. I didn't even take down the apex. So, whoa, those are sharp. So lots of nice branching, getting some nice thickness on the trunk, but nearly 4 years old. And then here's the other one that grew with it. This was the runt, and I've got it in a planting with two blue spruce, Rocky Mountain spruce from Colorado blue spruce. There we go. Finally got there. Okay, so those are the Pinus Aristata, 4 years old. If you have grown those, you could see what to expect. And now that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you did, please like and subscribe. Plenty more updates specifically on this Planner's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit. And then I have tons of other trees and things going on. So always changing, learning, and I appreciate all the comments and all this constructive criticism, or not criticism, but assistance that y'all offer me out there. So I really appreciate it. Take care. Cheers.